Welcome, welcome. My video is not where it's supposed to be, apparently, but we're just gonna do it from over here. So, good evening. I am your host, Marchill. Welcome to Run Up the Millions. This is not how it's supposed to be, but we're just gonna do what we do. It's all good. Today we got a special guest um, that's going to be joining us, talking about their financial journey, talking about how they saved, how they were able to purchase their first house, and kind of get to the point they're at right now. Good friend of mine. Before we dive into her journey, I do want to remind y'all. Last week we talked about how you were able to pull cash out of the house and being able to leverage the equity so that you can maximize your budget, reduce bills, buy additional property, invest, so on and so forth. So if you haven't checked that out before, go ahead and check that out. That's talking about HELOCs, home equity loans, and cash out refinances. So you have that opportunity on YouTube and in the Facebook group as well. So dive into that. But without further ado, I'm going to bring in my good friend. She's actually I would say CEO, but she's the president. She's the founder of probably one of the biggest resume builders for specifically for the Black community. Company's called Black on the Job, and they've been doing dope work for the last 6 years now because it's 2024. Let me go ahead and bring on my good friend, Admin Sin. Maybe not. Sin, I can't see you. I can see you now. Bam! There she is.
Hi guys.
What's happening? How you doing?
Good, good.
Welcome. Welcome.
It's good to be here talking all up in my business, my money business.
Well, you got it, and the people that they want to hear from is the people that have it. They don't want to hear from the broke folk. They want to hear from the folks that's come from a position of not having, a position of struggle, and being able to turn that misfortune into fortune and to some degree. So tell the people your story, Sam.
So I grew up foster care. So getting a home was a really big thing for me. It was the one thing that I understood that I built my company out. I have a career development company geared towards getting Black professionals to six figures. And that comes with a lot of stuff. But getting a home was very big for me. No one in my family owns a home still. So I really, really want this as like a number one goal. So back in 2022, year four of Black on the Job, I bought my first home.
Okay. What was that process like?
Well, I started in 2020. So I started going to get a home in 2020. I have a really great friend, Rachel. She is a real estate agent and she does credit repair. So I came to her with my credit all good. And I was like, Rachel, I'm ready to buy a home. And she looked and she said, denied, come back next year. And I was like, what? She
What?
made me
Okay.
Yes, she denied me. She wouldn't even accept the application. She looked at the paperwork and said no.
Why?
Wow, I'm a business owner. And so proving your money is a little bit different.
Mm.
And I was listening to Black LLC. Don't do Black LLC Twitter. That's the best advice I could ever give you guys. Don't do it. So I was listening to Black LLC Twitter and I'm like, well, duh, I have the finances. So I had saved $20,000 and I had, look, my credit's good. I got 20 cash, girl. What's popping? She's like, no, you're denied. She told me to go back and make sure I get a my LLC has a S corp. She told me to get an S corp so I could be an employee of my business. That
Okay.
trying to go through and have it, people were telling me that, oh, you could just get the house in your business name and all this stuff. And she was like, no, you need to be an employee of your business. That way you could just show 2 years of tax return and you go through the same process everybody else goes through. So she
Right.
denied me. I came back after a year because I'm hard headed and stubborn. So I came back after a year and I was like, Rachel, what about now? And she was like, why are you talking to me? I told you 2 years. So I was like, okay, whatever. She talked to me about PMI, primary something insurance. And the way she explained it to me was like, you can either pay your mortgage and a bunch of bills and pay the bank for just saying hello to you, or you can go save more money. And I was like, okay, I'll go save more. So I saved more money so I could put 20% down. She was like, you don't want to get PMI, so let's get 20% down. I'm very happy that she denied me a lot of times. That last year was a lot of education.
Okay. So we talked about PMI before, private mortgage insurance, which is when
Okay.
you don't have 20% down, or if you don't have a program that allows borrowers to put a lower down payment down, you have to pay the insurance, which is basically it guarantees the lender in case you
Hmm.
default or foreclose on the house. So Sin was able to put the 20 down. I didn't put 20 down on my house. I put down 5%. Um, but I still don't have PMI. So yeah,
Yes, I hadn't had that option. Yeah.
that's kind of the benefit of being in the game as a mortgage industry in the mortgage industry. Some lenders do not require it. They have programs where you could put down as little as 5%, and they have what's called
Mhm.
lender paid mortgage insurance. So instead of you paying it out of your pocket, the lender covers it for you, and you just take like a little bit of a higher interest rate, like a eighth of a percent higher. Um,
Okay. Okay.
so
Yeah. Okay.
you keep your cash. So the next house in lender paid mortgage insurance. You ain't got to bring out the 20%.
That would be a good idea. We had what I will say was that last year of because when people see my home buying journey, they think that it happened in 2 weeks, but it was really 2 years of prep. And that's what I
Yeah.
tell people. Once I prepped, that process was super easy. When I went to buy my home, instead of like house shopping, she told me to be goal shopping. So we
Okay.
had a lot of different meetings about what exactly do I want out of a home. For myself as a business owner, money is up and down. You can't predict your month to month. And so I wanted a mortgage that was cheap enough that if I got to ask some people for some money to pay my mortgage, they can do it. I ain't gonna lie to
Right.
y'all, this is the truth.
Right.
I had some
Right.
goals. So my goals were okay, I wanted a house that if I had to rent out some rooms or someone else had to pay for my mortgage, it was easily affordable. Or if I had to go back to work really quick, it wouldn't be an amount that I couldn't pay. I'm in
Okay.
Arizona, so mine is 2,000 a month, which for Arizona is the equivalent if I would have gotten. Right now, they have two-bedroom apartments that run about $1,800. Just to give you
Hmm.
guys perspective. So those were my goals. My goals was that I wanted to have a mortgage that was no more than what my rent was, which was $2,000. Um, I also wanted to have space for guests, and that was pretty much. And because of me being a business owner, I also needed a place to put my money so I wouldn't be taxed as high on it. That was the third goal. So
Okay.
the 20% down was a better option for me at that time because, okay, this is the money that I'm putting down. I won't be taxed on it that year. I don't know what's going on with tax and stuff. I have a rule. I let experts do what experts do. But when I
Yeah.
told her my goals, she was like, okay, so this is how we're going to structure it. And so she told me going into it what exactly I would need. I spent 2 years getting all those things together, and that's how I bought my home.
Okay. Now, a lot of people will struggle with like the saving aspect, being able to have a down payment or even the closing costs. What was that process like for you to be able to put that money aside to be able to accomplish the goal of getting the house within that 2 year time frame?
Well, this might go against your channel, but My grandma taught me that money is meant to be spent, not wasted.
Okay.
So, and I have a certain lifestyle. These nails don't pay for themselves. I was not going to modify my lifestyle in order to save for a house. I don't believe in that. What
Okay.
I did was the equivalent of someone taking out a second job. So I started a side workshop that I did every 3 months within my company, and all money from that program went towards the house. So if someone is working, I that's my recommendation for myself, the way I live. I'm not very good at saving. It's not my favorite thing to do. So that worked for me because it was like me just adding on extra work hours, and then I that money was tied to an account that I didn't get to see. So I would do these workshops every 3 months and the money would be put over there. As far as like looking at what I have now, but what I noticed for myself is that most of my money, I have money for a rainy day. I have money for this, I have money for that. But when it comes to like buying a house, it was such a big goal that I already knew that if an emergency happened at the same time I was saving for a house, the savings for the house would go to the emergency.
Right.
So if my life is already set up for emergencies, that cousin that call you once a year, and all of my, regular spending, the best way to do it that was comfortable, which I'm not changing my lifestyle. I don't feel like I'm making this huge sacrifice, was to open up a basically a consulting workshop program, or for other people have a second job to where all money from that is allocated towards the house. And I did that for 2 years. I don't mind working. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it really depends on what is worse for you. Saving, I would rather work than save.
So you got your hustle on basically. You just
Yeah,
hustle, you know.
yeah.
And you made a very key point too, was the fact that you didn't just have one account. There's so many people that I talk to that has just one account. One, I have a checking account or I have a savings account, and so all their money is going into this one account. So when
Mhm.
that cousin do call once a year, or I got to make a emergency flight back home for whatever reason, that money is now they're looking at that money every single day, so they know exactly what's in there, what they can spend, what they can't spend, and most of the time they just, if they can't spend it, they put it on a credit card. So how many different accounts would you say that you have, as far as like just to be able to? I was always taught. I was taught. I must say I was always taught. But when I got into mortgages, one of the directors, one of the managers, told me that you should have at least 5 bank accounts. Um, and think of it like, if you're going out to the club, you take $100, you put 100 in one pocket, 100 in another. I'm sorry, 20 in one pocket, 20 in another pocket, 20 in each pocket, and by the end of the night, you're gonna forget about at least 20. You know.
Yes, yes. I have to be honest. I remember before I met you, I had two personal accounts. And one of those personal accounts was just a leftover account, quite honestly, from when I bought the house. But now I have four. And
Okay.
so I have a home project account. I have an account for my dog. Things get crazy. I have an account for families and friends, and then I have an account for myself. So I have a
Okay.
family and friend account, and my all my family friends are sharing that one account. That account keeps $1,000 in it for 3 months. It's a savage. Whoever called, I check the account. Like, saying, you got 200. Let me see. Nah, don't look like y'all can get 200 this time.
Mm,
So
okay.
that kind of helped me. As far as how I was able to kind of structure that for myself, I realized that most times when I am spending money, it's not, I can justify anything. I could have been an attorney. So, like,
We
if
all
it's
can.
me telling me,
Yeah. We all
yeah,
can. Hey, I
yeah,
deserve this.
exactly. So, like, I can always win my own case. So what I need to do is have money put away to where I don't have like easy access to it.
Mm,
So I'm very strange, y'all, but I have almost 40 employees. So I have to keep my money tight. So what I do is that some of my bank accounts are not on my phone apps and they're tied to an email that's only on one laptop that's upstairs in my office. So in order for me to even access that money, I have to be in my house, in that office, opening up that particular computer. So that's way too much work.
Yeah. But that's honestly how it has to be. Most of my accounts, um, most of my money does not sit in a debit card. I don't keep no money on a debit card. It all sits in a savings that has no card attached to it. And like Kevin Hart say, I had to check in the savings. In order for the savings to go, it take 3 business days. So if it's something I really want, I gotta really want it. Or I got to really be cognitive that okay, I'm gonna buy this thing so I can move the money. Especially because for those who don't know, when it comes to debit cards, if something happened to that money, that's your money. Where if it's a savings, if you use your credit card, the credit card companies are usually quick to reimburse or get rid of a fraudulent account or charge because that's their money.
Yeah.
So you don't never want to keep all your money on a debit card that could be hacked because them companies are gonna take 30 days. If you ain't got 30 days to make sure your bills is paid, you're gonna be in a world full of hurt. So that's
Yeah.
good that you got them accounts that's on this whole separate computer. It's very intricate, very
It
intricate. I
is.
like that.
And I would say that it was very helpful because even with my credit cards and stuff, like my dog, he has his own credit card and his own checking account. But the, don't look like that. Joy Boy, he got his own situation going on. So his credit card gets travel points. It's a credit card for me, but it's the only credit card I use for spending on that dog. And the reason
Okay,
why is that I don't have any kids, and so I can't claim him on my taxes. So I don't get any benefits from spending money on him. So what I did was I used my credit card that gets the most travel point of rewards, and so all
okay,
of my purchases for him is on that one credit card, and then I use those points to go back in. But I will say that another important thing that I did during my house buying journey that was a little different, which I don't understand why people don't do this, is I asked for the model home. I asked for the home with none of the bells and whistles. And when I say none of them, my house didn't come with any fans. Some of the rooms came with no lights. I didn't even have a refrigerator in my house. I didn't even get that. I took the mindset of like, if you can just give me the walls, I'll be fine. I'll figure out windows on my own. That was like me negotiating. But I was able to get my house, the going price of it, I end up getting $120,000 knocked off of it. So there's a house
really?
on my block, yeah, that's 3 doors down. And that house and my house were built at the same time, everything, but my house cost me $120,000 less because I got it bare bones. And I was okay with that because you go to that showroom, you guys get a new development home, you take you to that showroom. I promise you, even if you thinking it added $10,000 to the house. I promise you, every thought cost up in that situation. And I heard about the war room. So I was like, you know what? I don't even want to go. I don't even know what it looks like. So I don't even want to do that. I rather get my house and I just work on it slowly. I just
Okay.
do small things, little things, room by room. And it's, I mean, in my mind, girl math, it's like I have a custom designed home, girl math in my head because I am customizing and designing as I go. So my house is unique to me. It's within my price budget. I have a money allocated once a quarter for a home project, and then I just kind of tackle it that way. Some portions of my house is not done at all, and those are just the portions you don't show guests, and that's just that.
So what's something that you had went in? Okay, you went in, you bought the house. You have a new build, all right?
Yeah.
And so what was one of the surprises that came about with having a new build that you weren't necessarily expecting?
I tell everyone I can hear. I don't know if it's an Arizona thing, but the backyards come unfinished. I was in
Yes.
tears. Okay. The unfinished backyard. So I bought my house in October. I moved in December. I remember them specifically telling me, like, you are gonna eventually have to at least put rocks down because once it rains, you don't want the water to seep underneath the foundation. And they could have been lying to me, but I just want to let y'all know it got in my head. But like an unfinished backyard, they give you that backyard, it's just dirt back there. I'm like, it's like it's the worst because you're trucking dirt back and forth into your house. It's an eyesore. It's no good. No,
Yeah, yeah. New builds, at least in Arizona, do not come with the yards done.
no. And then I mean, I still don't get it. I mean, all I know is that they taking money out of my account, and then at the end of the year, my mortgage can either go up or down. There's something going on with the tax. I have no idea. Some
Okay.
type of a that I don't know about. I don't know. I just know that I it was something. What is it called?
Escrow.
The escrow situation. So yeah,
Yes.
the escrow. I was not familiar, and as you guys can see, I'm still not very familiar with it. I know twice a year I get a statement.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, so, so you mentioned it. I'm glad you brought that up because you mentioned that you wanted your mortgage payment to be 2 grand, right?
Yes.
Now, when it comes to, for those listening, when it comes to your mortgage, you have your principal and interest payment, which is your mortgage payment. And then you have what they call your pity payment, principal and interest, tax and insurance, which includes your escrow. So
Okay.
when you went in and said, "Hey, I want my payment to be 2 grand," you just want your mortgage to be 2 grand, or is everything all in 2 grand?
So they told me that. They told me it was going to be 2000 plus. So altogether I paid 2200 because the $200 goes to that savings account, and then every 6 months they tell me if I put enough in there, if I did
Gotcha. Right. Right. Okay. Yes.
it.
So your total payment is 2,200 because you got your
Yeah.
escrow, and you can choose to escrow or not. Um, Most people do, like 90% of people do, because why you want to pay your own taxes twice a year or your insurance, every year. You got to That's just out of pocket. Something more you got to budget, to put away,
Mhm.
versus having a mortgage company do that. So yeah, I remember you telling me about that. And then your payment can change because your taxes will increase
Yes.
or decrease, or your insurance will increase, more than likely to increase. And so that 2,200 can go to 23 or what have you. But
Yes.
your mortgage payment will always be 2 grand,
2 grand.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
What
I
was that?
think
What was that shock? Was that like a big shock? Like, what the hell is this?
so. I know you have to pay to play. As you know, for me, I think that what I'm not used to is like even what you explaining that the first thought in my head was like, so who are these other insurance people I'm paying? I realized that like owning a home is a bunch of invisible bills that no one tells you about. And you don't understand like maxing it out because I know because I'm thinking I'll keep looking this way because I know there's a number underneath my sink and I thought, like, if I'm paying insurance over here, I wonder what's the homeowner insurance that I pay then? Because I pay homeowner insurance too, and that's a separate bill than the pity situation.
No. You about your association?
No. So I'm paying two homeowner insurances. I think one is through the new development situation. Let me tell y'all, whatever they tell you you're going to pay, just add like 150 in your head. And then you'll be
Yeah.
able to wiggle with it. It's honestly cheaper. I know that I spend way less owning a home, and I'm building my money a lot faster. And I realized that like home ownership, you don't have to know everything to get started. Sometimes people have a mindset that you need to know the entire process in order to move, and you don't have to. I knew what my payments would be. I knew that it was a possibility that it can go up or down depending on the area. If things go up in this area or down in this area, things that don't come out in the wash comes out in the rents. And sometimes people are held back from buying a home or even starting the process because they feel like they have to be a mortgage loan officer in order to start. It's like you don't have to. If you know what your credit score is, you have a good savings plan, or you take out that second job, then give yourself that shot. I think that the fear of failure is so wrapped up in home ownership, especially for Black people, that it prevents them from even getting started. And that to me is what is really sad. Because honestly, the denial part is the easy because once, and I say easy because once they
Yeah,
deny you, you know why they deny you. Let me tell you, those real estate people, they hungrier than you to, for you to get in the house. They want to move you in more than you want to move in.
they
So
do.
every time you deny, and it's not about like running your credit a whole bunch of times. They will look at your information and tell you, like, okay, this is what you need to do. You get you a consultant, and they will tell you exactly where you're missing at, exactly why this is not going to work. And if you work with them, it's a way better outcome. You can't be scared of the failure. You almost want to get your first denial so you can know what you need to work on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of people will actually walk you through how to achieve what you need to do. They'll tell you, hey, okay, your credit's at this position, you got these bills, if you pay this down to this, and
Mhm,
this, your score will go up.
mhm,
As far as your savings, right? If you're open to it, they'll walk you through your statement. Like, okay, this is where you just blowing money at. You got Wendy's on here 4 times a day. That's $30 right there. You can put that
mhm.
$30 a day into something else. So they will absolutely help you. What made you decide on a new build versus an existing home?
Because I don't like why you ask me that question? You ain't gonna like my answer.
It's, it's, it's your answer. It's your truth.
Because like I don't buy used clothes or used shoes, so why would I buy a used home?
Yeah.
Why did you ask me?
That's fair. That's fair because at the end of the day, everybody's gonna have their own preference. I've looked at new builds, and when I looked at new builds, it was very similar to what it was like. Man, all right, this is nice, but then I wasn't because I owned a home when I was looking at new builds, and I didn't want to have to do renovations to the house. I wanted a house that was
Mhm.
turnkey, ready to go the way that I wanted it to go in, based off of my original experience. My Both my homes are used homes, right? Um,
Why you ask me?
no, but that's because at the end of the day, I can go in, I could paint it. I know what it look like. I ain't got to do the backyard. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to worry about the dirt. And some stuff is already done, so it does make it a little bit a less of a hassle. When walking into it. But again, you have your blank canvas, so you can do it exactly how you want it, and it's yours. You know what I'm saying? Everything about your home is 100% yours because you put your touch on it, from the lamps to the fans to what's in the backyard, the whole nine. But at the same time, I know that you're also going through some of those growing pains. Like, damn, I didn't expect that. Damn, I wish this had came with the house. Or why do I got to get this? Or you know what I mean? So that's the nature of the game. Like you say, you pay to play.
It really depends on what type of person you are. I would say that
Okay.
because okay, so you're absolutely right. It's a blank canvas. And in the type of company that I have, I'm a creative. I like to play. So my house for me is a big playground. I am the person who is tastefully always putting holes in the walls and like putting things up, tearing things down. Like that's just who I am as in nature. Like that's just how I am. So I needed a space that I felt as though did not have someone else's touch on it already. You
Okay.
know, and you're absolutely right. I mean, the project that I'm currently working on right now is changing all the doorknobs in the house, but this is just where I'm at right now. So like in my office there is a doorknob. In my bedroom is a different one. And so like I'm in the middle of creating that. And I will also say one thing, Mark, that I would say the most important reason why I'm so thankful I worked with the consultant was that the year I got my house, and this is definitely first world problems, but some of y'all will have these problems. With the year I got my house was the same year I wanted a Tesla. And so right when I was about to go buy my Tesla, I was just going to take out a car loan. And it was, my consultant who told me, no, you cannot do that. And I'm like, wait, why? They're like, isn't this the year you're supposed to be getting a house in September, October, right? I was like, yeah, this was June. They said, absolutely not, son. You cannot. Man, my credit score was Gucci. I was like, what you talking about? My credit can handle this, bro. I could get that house and that car same year, no problem. And they're like, no, you cannot, because you getting that car would harm your chances of getting that house in a few months. And I was almost not going to listen. But this time I said, you know what? Let me just listen. And so it actually reorganized that, which I did not know. I did not know that me getting that car, if I would have gotten a loan out on that car, and I don't know what the implications could have been. And maybe you can explain that. But I got that. I was going to get that car in June and then get that house right there in September. And they were like, that's not going to work.
Yeah, yeah. So if you would have got that loan, the same reason why she had you have to wait for your income, right? Because what you was showing on your income, now you have this new loan of $1,000 a month, and that's now going to affect your debt ratio to being able
Ah,
to buy your house. So now you're not able to purchase as much of a house, and
mm,
it just puts you right back into square one of either a having to pay off a Tesla that you just bought, or not buying a house. So did you get the
mm.
Tesla?
Yeah, I did. I did. But what I did was I cashed out on the Tesla. So it did
Okay.
not have the loan attached to it, but I would not have. I was
Okay.
just thinking in my head, I can, because they were running something where you have like a 1% or 2%. So I was like, oh, this will be, but I remember now. She said the debt to income ratio, we're going to have to redo all of that. So don't
Mhm.
do that. So I waited to after I got the house, like a month or so afterwards. But I'm very happy because she told me that one decision would have really changed the way we were going about things. And that,
Absolutely.
yeah, that I did not know. And if I wasn't working with a consultant, I would have done that because in my mind, it was a smart decision.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I'm going to get a car, but I'm going to get it at a very low, car note, so it's not going to be as, big bills. But I'm really happy that she saw. And I think that's what sometimes people don't understand is that when you do work with someone when you're getting a house, they do help you clean up a bunch of bad habits. They do, because your credit and your finances are a lifestyle. It's not
Mhm.
about like budgeting and managing, but living in them and having like a fluid lifestyle with your money. And your money just kind of determines how you live that lifestyle. And sometimes you could just have a bad lifestyle, but just small tweaks will give you a better lifestyle. Because I have better like money discipline, I actually live a higher quality of life. And it's
Okay.
just small tweaks that I did not know before.
Okay. All right.
Very much so.
What was one of those small tweaks?
You don't want to ask that question.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to know do you want to be honest with you, my last tweak?
Sure.
Okay. So I was paying for my gym membership at Lifestyle Gym. That was 139 a month. On
Okay.
top of that, I was going to Orange Theory for group workout classes. So I was like, okay, well, sometimes I need a little bit more to motivation. So I had that membership out. Then I go to a massage parlor and I had that membership. Then when I do my nails and feet and stuff, I had that membership. So I had 5 different memberships when it comes to my like monthly maintenance as a woman. And so I still work with my consultant. She looked at all of them and she was like, well, why don't we just get you this country club membership that's 130? And it actually included all the things that I'm getting now. So I get 2 free massages a month. I get a gym membership. I get free tennis lessons, private tennis lessons twice a week.
Okay.
And now I even have an office space. So I rolled up all that for 140 a month for my lifestyle. That's affordable because I'm getting private gym lessons, spa days, massages. I mean, and I have an office all for 140 a month. That's perfect. So it
Yeah.
was looking at all those different things. Now, if you tell me any of those things individually, I have a reason. Well, Sin, you're spending this much on your nails, and oh, you're doing this. Okay. But when she broke it all the way down and had a solution that worked for me, I actually ended up saving a couple $100.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah.
And you know, your money's working smarter for you now because now you can use that extra couple $100 to put towards whatever your next project might be in the house, or you know, whatever savings, or your friend's account. You know what I mean? You can replenish all these other things when you have this extra cash, and that's the beauty of it, of not only hearing it, but you got to be willing to actually accept it too.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of times we say we want things, as far as we want to change things, but we're not really willing to hear that advice, because it does change the lifestyle to a degree. You probably like going to the nail salon that you went to before, or the massage parlor that you went to before. I don't know if the country club's better now, but
It's cheaper. Now look, it's cheaper and it's closer by. I see that's my thing. I allow people to work within their expertise. That's a big thing for me. So if and I'm willing to try something at least once because as far as failing, I don't mind failing. If I would have
mm,
canceled all those things and it didn't work out, I would have been fine with that. I would have went back, but then I now know why. But for me, I do believe in that. I do believe in letting experts do what experts do. She tricked me out of Starbucks. She did. She tricked me out of Starbucks. I was a Starbucks girly. I mean, come on now, young black CEO. I was trying to be like y'all. We go to Starbucks, go get our little lattes. I was living the lifestyle, guys. I had to play the part. So I was out, $5 a day. Now I have seen all those different memes and stuff about, oh, look how much you spend on Starbucks a month. But every day I woke up with Starbucks in my mind, I had already rationalized why that would work. So all of that Facebook post wasn't hitting me for real, for real.
uh,
What she ended up doing, she was like, hey, guess what? And I was like, what? She was like, have you tried this Blantarani, whatever syrup? And I was like, no. And she was like, well, I was thinking about it because I know how much you love coffee. I could tell by your credit card statements that I want to send you a case of the different flavors to see how you like them. And I was like, oh, well, I don't have a coffee machine at home. And she was like, I mean, it's $40. You ain't got $40? I said, well, I can get a coffee machine. She's like, okay, well, why don't you get a coffee machine and I'll send you out the samplers. I want you to see how you like these different ones. You would love it. And I was like, okay. So I go out, mind you, I just feel like she manipulated me. But I went out, I bought a little Keurig, and I just bought like a pack of coffee. And she sent me this sampler of like different syrups and creamers. And then, like, when it all came, she called me again and she was like, hey, did you know that like whipped cream comes in different flavors? I was like, what? She was like, yeah, let me send you a link. There's vanilla whipped cream. I'm like, vanilla whipped cream? She's like, it's amazing. Changed my life. Change your life. So I was like, okay. So she sends me like this Amazon list, and it's like these different sugars. I have like rose sugar and all these whipped creams. I mean, I ended up spending like $100. So I have all these different things for coffee, and she's sending me these different text messages every day. Like, have you tried making a ginger cookie coffee? And I'm like making all these coffees, and by the time we have our meeting within a month, she's like, so last month you spent this much at Starbucks. We're not at Starbucks no more. We're back at the house now. Now that you're drinking coffee at home, you've saved, I think I had saved like a great, my coffees were like $9 a day. So she was like, you've saved, I know. I was getting the extras cherry on top. I was
yeah.
the end of the day. So I had to end up getting all this stuff, and she showed me how much I saved, but it wasn't even in the savings. It was in she knew I was a creative, so she played into that. Like, have you made a
Uh,
gingerbread coffee before? I'm like, no. How do you do that? So like every morning now, it's a whole 10-minute production. I got music on. I'm saying I think I'm like a bartender. Call me like barista sin in the morning. You know, it's a thing. But you have to know. That's why I think working with someone is good because they get to know you. And so
mm,
advice that you get online sometimes is generic advice. And so it may or may not hit you depending on your perception and your experience. I just want the experience of, waking up honestly, because as a CEO that has an online business, yeah, I have a lot of employees and stuff, but I'm home alone all day. So me getting up in the morning, going to go get Starbucks, seeing other people that work and being there, that was giving me a little bit of social. So her texting me every morning gave me that social feeling while giving me a creative outlet. So I was really appreciative of that.
Oh wow, okay.
You know what I
Eh,
mean?
that's actually very creative. You said was it Rachel?
Yeah, Rachel's silly self.
That's very creative. You got to know your client. That is for sure. Um,
Yeah.
and I think you can speak on that, especially being in your line of business. You have to be able to know your client to be able to get them to do what it is that you need them or that they even want to do, for them to be able to realize what they want to do.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they don't know what they don't know.
Yes. And sometimes we also have to understand that hmm, you may know something, you just don't know how to apply it. Like, yeah, it sounds stupid. Maybe to other people, the answer was simple. Like, oh, well, if she told you you're spending $10 a day on coffee, why didn't you just think to buy a coffee maker? Well, there are too many other things tied to that. I like the social. I like the idea of getting out the house for a second. It was more to it for me. And so the good didn't outweigh the bad. I was like, okay, for $10 I get to be social, I'm getting out of my house, I'm getting a coffee, I'm able to interact with people. So for $10 it was worth it to me. So
Yeah,
getting to know your client and understanding that, telling people over and over again, like, oh, this will save you money or this will help you build this, that doesn't work even if you're poor, even if you are barely making it, middle class, upper class, it doesn't matter. Like, the buzzword isn't saving money. That's not personalized for someone. You
right,
work with somebody so that you can understand what their needs are. Everybody needs money. Shit, I need some money. Okay, always. So people, everyone needs money, but they have other needs. They also have joys, they have loves, they have passions, they have things that make them happy. So knowing your client, knowing your customer, that's why that's so important, because then they're more tied to the outcome. I'm tied to the outcome of how my coffee comes out. So when it comes to making coffee at home or going to Starbucks, it's more so I have more joy now in making that coffee at home. So I'm more tied there than tied to what I was getting out of Starbucks. My home environment now outweighs the Starbucks experience. And that's the difference.
yeah, that makes sense. Do you still write? Do you write your name on your side of your cup still at
I,
home too?
I have cups with my picture on it, pictures of my dog, my business. It depends on the vibe. If I'm in
Okay.
business mode, I have like a coffee cup that has like a queen thingy on there. And I'm like, yeah, today I'm a queen. It depends on my vibe. Sometimes I'm a dog mom. And so I got the cup with the paw on it. It's a different experience.
That's dope. That's dope. So you got your house. You're putting everything piece by piece. You
Yes.
got your savings. You're still doing good on. You're still expanding on the savings. What's the next project on the house that you're thinking about? 'Cause
So
as
around
a homeowner, we're always there's always something.
Well, last year I went up north and I was in this big, beautiful home. And I was in the shower and the Marvin Gaye was playing. I went downstairs and I went outside and it was snowing and that same song was playing. And so now I want that. I want my full house wired to where I can listen to the same song from the front door to the backyard. So
Okay.
that's my next project. That project is running me 10,000. And so the way that I have it set up now is I have workshops that I'm doing every 3 months again, but the entire amount can't be dedicated to this because it's a frivolous project. I have Marshall speakers. So it's really just a want. It's not as much of a need.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that I can get it done in the summer. Right now, there's an in, there's an invoice that I pay to myself to that account once a month from my projects of $1,000. So in 10 months, I'll be able, well, now I think it's 6 months. In 6 months, I'll be able to get that project done.
Okay. All right. Cool. Sin. It's always good talking to you, man.
Always.
Yeah. Where can the people find you at?
In the hive. So you can search black on the job on any platform, Google it, and you will see my V's. We call our members jobbies. and we help Black professionals get to six figures through low cost career development services. So we do resumes, career coaching, mock interviews, LinkedIn, all that fun stuff. It's always happy in the hive.
Okay, it is always happy in the hive, and hey, the hive be going down. I peep in there from time to time. It be going down in there, y'all. So definitely tap in on Facebook, Black on the Job, right? And then on
Yes,
Instagram, on
Black on the
Instagram too,
job.
Black on the Job.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
admin sin.
thank you.
Say it again.
I said, thank you so much for having me. And, I do always call you when I'm having situations with my mortgages and houses and money. When they call me, I call Mark immediately. So you guys are in really good hands. I do appreciate the knowledge that you share here, honestly. I was looking at that HELOC loan situation. I was like, should I?
It ain't. It don't hurt.
Yeah, I might do it for a second house. That's what I'm thinking about doing, is doing that for a second house exclusively and specifically.
Yeah, that's a good plan. That's a good
Yes.
plan. All the cool kids got one.
I guess I'm down with the crowd.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Admin sin in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Appreciate you,
Well, you
Sin.
guys keep going. Bye, guys.
See ya. Right on, man. It's always good to get another voice in here and just kind of reaffirm what we talking about. Give you all a different perspective because I know y'all can kind of get tired of your boy's voice. Um, but it's the real deal. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Quote for the day. This actually came from Sin. I should have kept her on here when I gave it so she could hear it. If you're gonna fail, fail forward. Right? 'Cause at the end of the day, you can always learn from your mistakes. You can always learn from failure. They say Einstein failed 1,000 times. If you hear the kids on the radio, the artists on the radio nowadays, and even before, all it takes is one song or one hit or one time, but they fail all those other times, and all that is experience. You know what I'm saying? Kobe said, "I never took a loss. I always took a lesson." So if you're going to fail, fail forward. Enjoy the week. Have a great week, man. Run up the cheese, get that bread, and see you on the next one. Love.